Hey everyone, welcome to today's AMA. We are very pleased to have Tom Tiemann from PARSIQ with us. Now, before we get an introduction, a very quick intro. Once again, I am Justin Das, hosting another infrastructure AMA. I'm a partner growth manager at BNB Chain. So, without further ado, let's take a look at PARSIQ and let's take a look at Tom. So, Tom, before we get into further details about your project, maybe you could give us, for our audience, a very quick intro on how you transitioned into crypto or what your background originally looked like.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Justin. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Tom. I'm the CEO of PARSIQ, and I'm actually based in Estonia. And I got into crypto in 2017 during the big bull run. Never bought any crypto at that point, but I started studying the underlying technology and decided that this is what I want to do. And in 2018, a year later, I met my co-founders, and we decided that there is a big gap in terms of data and infrastructure in Web3. And this is how we decided to start Parsec.
Awesome, got you. Now, well, with that said, would you be happy to share with us a very quick demo on, how Parsec works? Maybe elaborate a little bit more about, the tech stack, some of its features, and where the value is driven.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in short, so what we've built is a full suite data solution to get blockchain data instantly. And maybe it will be easier if I quickly share my screen and show the website. So 1 second. Right. So is my screen visible?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, perfect. So our website is parsiq.net, and I will quickly run through what exactly is our technology and what it can be used for. So it's a one-stop shop for all blockchain data needs, and it gives the ability for developers to build backends for their decentralized applications and protocols. And pretty much so, how it works is that we have the core product, which is the Tsunami API. So what we do is we run full nodes of all the blockchains we support, and we have indexed the histories of all of these blockchains. So we allow developers to access any data as far as they want, so even back to the Genesis block. And this is what Tsunami API is used for. It's very fast, and it allows you to get anything that you want. If I click on it, you can get some more details around what it can be used for. But pretty much the main pillars are that you can get historical data, you can query anything you need from the past, and it can process over 6 million blocks in less than a second and return the data to you. And in addition to query based, like pull based data, you can also monitor things in real time. So you can set up certain filters that allow you to get this data pushed to your site, to your API endpoints using webhooks, WebSockets, to get this specific relevant data. And of course, it's very customizable. So you can filter what types of events you want to get from the blockchain. So you can ask for certain trades on PancakeSwap of a certain pair, or the data about liquidity pools. Pretty much any event that exists on the blockchain, you can get the data from instantly. But in addition to fundamental blockchain data, we have something we call the data lakes. Now, data lakes are pretty much forks of the Tsunami API, but they give access to custom tailored specific data. So, for example, imagine pancake swap. So a pancake swap data lake means that we have dived deep into the logic of the smart contracts and of pancake swap. And now you can get not just the fundamental, the raw data from the blockchain, but you can also get specific custom tailored data about things going on in that particular application, or that particular DEX, or any kind of Web3 app. And pretty much, so how it works is that it's reorg aware. When the blockchain reorganizes itself, we support all the reorgs, and you can even choose confirmation level support, at which point you want to get the data, at which level of confirmations. And along with the data lakes, we have a storage function, which is called the data hubs. And the data hubs allow you to store the data that you pull from the blockchain using our APIs on your site, to be able to aggregate it, calculate things like TVLs, ROIs, and so on. And you can also match it with off-chain data. A lot of games, NFT projects have a lot of data and logic off-chain, so you can combine all of that for it to be data hub specific to the product that you're building, and you can pull it to your front end whenever you need it. And we have a documentation section. So if there are any developers, any teams building Web3 applications, feel free to visit the documentation section on PARSIQ.net, because it explains what you can do with this, and pretty much including the data lakes. So we've just released a new data lake, which is called the NFT data lake. It's an API that is NFT specific, and you can pull data regarding NFT collections and history of ownership of NFTs, and even pull the actual JPEGs or the metadata about these NFTs. And our portal, which is called Harbor, so it takes you less than minute to set up your account, and you can already start using the API and exploring it. So in a nutshell, we build solutions so that developers who are building Web3 applications can easily, without friction, without any in-house development work, pull any data, whether it's historical data, real-time data, or customized specific data about certain applications, certain contracts, certain use cases. And all that without having to run your own node, without having to spend the time, money, and resource of building anything in-house.
Okay, got you. Yeah, that was very in depth. Well, one thing I noticed is that you are very data management focused, through analytics, storage, etc. I guess one simple question that would be helpful for us to understand on a fundamental level is, blockchain projects, and why there is such a strong demand for these types of data services. If you could, share with us some thoughts or elaboration, it would be tremendously helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the problem is that blockchains store a lot of value. There's a lot happening, a lot of assets, a lot of transactions, and they are siloed from the centralized systems. If you think about all the legacy systems, the centralized systems, front ends, UIs, they're all centralized, and you need to get that data to your centralized systems, because that's where the users interact. And it's critical for user experience, for them to understand what is happening with these assets, what is happening with their assets, what is happening on these protocols, to show them in real time, especially, and instantly, because no one wants a delayed experience. And this is why it's critical to have instant access to blockchain data, because this allows you to retain users.
Right. Yes, definitely agreed on that. One thing we are also, I am interested to know a little bit more about is, so you have been invested in from Binance in the past, and now this is a totally new core product. Can you tell us about PARSIQ Network, and what where the differentiators are.
Absolutely. So our past product, the first product when Binance invested in PARSIQ, it was um, it was a platform for monitoring the blockchain and setting up if this then that automation workflows based on things happening on chain. So what you could do is monitor any address, any contract, even a million contracts, and set up specific conditions like what exactly you want to monitor, any amount thresholds, any event types. And when the events that match your condition happened, the workflow is triggered. So that data is transformed according to your logic and pushed to anywhere you want. So we had direct integrations with things like Telegram and Google Spreadsheets and Discord, and you could send it to your server API endpoints. And this was we eventually had over 60,000 registered users and over 100 projects using this platform. It also had a no-code version for non-developers, but it just didn't cover the use cases that a lot of the builders in the space want. A lot of projects are complaining that they need to use 5 different data providers, like for real-time data, historical data, price data, and so on and so forth. So it's either Scan API, BSC Scan API, then Infura's Node APIs, and a bunch of other things. It's not really reliable, not really scalable, not to mention expensive. So we figured we'd take the technology that we already have and turn it into like a full suite platform where you don't need to look anywhere else. So now we have the real-time functionality, which is triggerable, push-based to your side. We have the historical data APIs and also custom DeFi and dApp data with the storage layer. So if you're building a Web3 application and you need a backend, something that's between the front end and the blockchain smart contract layer, you can do it all in one place. You don't need anything else.
Okay, got you. Now, I guess you brought up a good point. Now we can talk about use cases. Let's say from a developer standpoint, can you provide us a scenario or a situation where the Tsunami API was able to support the project running its core functions?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of use cases out there. They are mainly for user experience type of situations. So we have a user called CryptoRank, which is the third biggest price tracker, I think, after CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. And they have a portfolio tracker. So you connect your MetaMask, you see the balances on all your wallets at all times. And to be able to show the balances in real time, they need a data provider, and they are using PARSIQ and they support multiple chains, multiple assets, and not a lot of solutions can provide this, and data about any tokens, even obscure ones, lesser known ones. So PARSIQ is constantly giving them updating them on wallet balances. So their users who use the portfolio tracker can always see the freshest and newest balance on all of the wallets on all chains.
Okay, got you. So you talked about data lakes quite a lot. I think it would be helpful for us to understand what the differentiation is between, data lakes and data hubs. Under what circumstances would these be needed by a project?
So usually data lakes are needed. The projects themselves often want their own dedicated data lakes. So that means if they want some kind of core functionality to get data from their own protocol, their own smart contracts. So it's not that easy to get everything from the blockchain raw data. You need to calculate things like liquidity, TVLs, ROIs to show to your users. And this is not something you can pull straight from the blockchain using Tsunami API or any API for that matter. So what they can do is set up their own data lake and all their smart contracts and business logic is translated. It's run through an ABI decoder. So now they have all these translated events. We help them implement their own custom business logic. And the data hub is used to calculate state. So things like you wouldn't be able to calculate directly on the blockchain. So the data lake API constantly updates the data hub, which is an off-chain storage. And when new events are added, it can calculate things as mentioned, like TVLs and such, which they can then pull directly and show on their front end, show to their users, or use internally.
Okay, got you. Thanks for sharing that. Now we can move on to kind of understanding where these projects fit in for BNB Chain. So why do you think providing these services on our chain would be pivotal, and not and first on our chain and then beyond our ecosystem onto the more broader market in terms of mainstream adoption? So
Absolutely. No, BNB Chain is one of the biggest decentralized networks there, in terms of both active users and number of transactions. So it has a lot of adoption. A lot of builders are building applications, DeFi protocols, games, NFT marketplaces, and so on. And they all need some kind of solution to simplify their life, to cut the unnecessary costs, to cut down time to market, and remove the complexity from dealing with blockchain data. So this is why we are very happy to support BNB Chain, and we have integrated BNB Chain as one of the first chains on the PARSIQ network. And we are already working with a number of both large and small projects on BNB Chain to provide the necessary data to them. Projects like Fluid DeFi, Beefy Finance, who have 300 million in TVL, because they all need smart contract events about their own protocol activity.
okay, got you. The next thing I want to talk about is actually NFTs. Now, how do you think the concept of data lakes and data hubs, how can they possibly apply themselves to NFTs, and even some examples of how NFTs can use these data services?
Yeah, absolutely. So it works the same way. You can pull any data regarding NFT tokens, ERC-721s, ERC-1155s, using Tsunami or the dedicated NFT data lake, without all the friction that you would also otherwise have getting that data. Imagine if you're building an NFT marketplace where people can buy and sell and list NFTs for sale, and you need to pull things about these NFTs, like ownership, and things like even pull the actual JPEG, which is and you can do it all from our side. You don't have to store it on your servers, so you can do it directly from the PARSIQ network to your front end and automate the whole process. So it really cuts out the sort of unnecessary in-house development. And these in-house solutions are usually very narrow in terms of use cases and not scalable.
Right, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I guess saving operational costs and development costs for non-mission critical things. So when we effectively look at software as a service company, Parsec is predominantly B2B, as per
Yeah.
all of your features and where they're mostly applied. So can you tell us a little bit about your tokens, the PRQ tokens? So how are they linked with Parsec Success, or what type of features does it enable holders to get?
Yeah, so it currently acts as an access token. So you can hold Parsec tokens to get access to Parsec services, Parsec technology for free. And the more usage you need, the more API calls, requests, and so on, the more you need to hold. And of course, for some projects, it's not viable to buy a huge amount of PRQ tokens and have them on the balance sheet because they're volatile and it can lock up a lot of capital. And so we've come up with a solution where if you don't want to buy PRQ tokens and hold them to get access, you can rent them from a decentralized renting pool for a time, like for a month or for a year, just like you would a SaaS subscription. And the decentralized renting liquidity pool holders, the community of PARSIQ token holders can provide liquidity there and they earn yield from these rental fees. So this way, we have connected the demand for the product to the demand for the token. And we will expand that utility a lot in the future once public data lakes go live. Public data lakes means that third-party developers, anyone can come and easily build a data lake on our side and also deploy it and run it on the PARSIQ network.
Okay, got you. I think one very common topic we're seeing these days is building infrastructure over the bear market. Now, I want to bring this topic specifically over to Parsec. As a B2B, as a data provider, where do you feel you can really build in from your positioning in this bear market, like on a high level?
Well, it's not PARSIQ's first bear market. We started in 2018, so it's our second. And honestly, bear markets are easily the best time to build because all the hype, all the froth is leaving the space, and usually only builders remain, and the whole attention is turned from all the unnecessarily hype things to the building blocks, the infrastructure, the data, and it's really easy to get attention in bear markets once the froth is sort of dissipating. And what I've seen from this bear market compared to the last one, in the last one, no one was sure if the industry would survive at all. There weren't many builders left. Really, it was an interesting time. But now I still see people coming into the space, from Web 2 as well, and building, and still capital is coming in, despite valuations contracting and the downturn in the market. And people are building. People know that the bear market will be over eventually, and this is the future. So the demand for infrastructure and demand for the building blocks to help builders create their new disruptive Web3 applications is actually growing. So I'm hugely bullish.
Right. Yes, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Definitely the key area to stay invested and build a solid product market fit, one that truly adds value and utility for users. So another question that I have is a little more about your roadmap. So I know you're very active on Twitter, but if you could help, share for our audience what your long-term vision is, or in the short term, I guess, what the next 6 months or further of your roadmap looks like for your product roadmap.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are focused on expanding the product offering both horizontally and vertically. So that means we will be adding more blockchains that we support, and we will be building more data lakes for all kinds of big Web3 applications and Web3 dexes and so on, so that both they and third parties can easily use them. Another big milestone will be the public data lakes, as I mentioned, so that third parties can build, deploy, and run data lakes on the PARSIQ network and even monetize them, even earn money from access to the data lake they build. And finally, we do want to build an application layer, so something that not just developers but any crypto native anyone can actually use, and it will be a sort of an explorer, but not like BSC scan. It will be meant for Web3 apps. So you choose a DEX, an NFT marketplace, any kind of Web3 application, and you can see the activity that is going on there. You can check the addresses who are interacting with it, and so on and so forth, all in real time. And the UI will be built in a way that you don't have to be a developer or have technical knowledge at all to be able to gain some insights that will help you make decisions.
That's very interesting. Honestly, very excited for this. Also, yeah. So Parsik and I have having a back and forth discussion as of recently, and where we're really glad that they're deploying here on BNB Chain. Well, anyway, as a founder, we're very excited to see what uh, progress you're going to build on here, how you're going to help our applications scale even further. Now, one thing that I want to talk about is also related to you as a founder. What do you expect this bear market to look like, or what do you see what some of the biggest innovations could possibly be in this space, or even on a personal level, even what are you
Yeah.
excited about?
Yeah, I see a lot of founders building great things. I speak to teams all the time, and just like in the Web 2 world, a lot of these startups will fail. Some of these will be hugely, insanely successful with massive growth, and it's a very nascent space. For me, what I'm most bullish about, obviously, I mean, we have like financial applications to these technologies, social, and so on. If I had to pick a niche, I am very interested in the NFT space because NFTs will have so many use cases. Gaming, metaverse, it's just a start. Even beyond that, things that NFTs can represent and productize and give them like a financial rails on Web3, a permissionless secondary market. I mean, these things are pretty much, the use cases are unlimited. It can be range from NFTs as tickets to your subscriptions, software subscriptions, Netflix subscriptions, to things like hotel bookings as NFTs, which you can later resell on the secondary market, your digital identity, your credentials. I mean, I think NFTs will have much more utility than any fungible assets in the space. And I just visited NFT NYC in June. I was really, and as you remember, June was a very bloody month for the markets, and I was surprised that almost 20,000 people came there, and everyone was building and doing and networking. It was impressive. So I'm very interested in seeing like where the NFT space will go in the next 3, 5 to 10 years.
That's true. That really is very exciting. NFTs is probably one of the most interesting new products that has come out over the last decade with so many potential use cases and applications. So that is the last question that I had coming from my side. But moving forward, before we get into some of the questions you may have, I very want to quickly highlight that there is a giveaway going on between for PARSIQ Network. So let me quickly give you a walkthrough. So there is a comment right here on the YouTube comment section. Please follow that link, and there are 5 very easy ways to enter and win a free giveaway. So just follow BNB Chain on Twitter, follow ParsikNet on Twitter, retweet BNB Chain, visit BNB Chain YouTube, official YouTube, and then finally submit your chain address. So, if you're interested, if you want to build, if you want to try the new Parsik product, please feel free to follow these steps. Now, into the Q&A, we have very little time remaining, but there is one interesting question that I see over here, which is, what is the difference between the Graph protocol and Parsik?
Yep. Well, obviously there is some overlap because the Graph protocol also allows you to get access to data from the blockchain. Now, there are a lot of key differences, though. Key differences being ease of access. So we've built it in a way that requires you less friction and less infrastructure you have to build around it to be get proper data. The graph has some great use cases, but we have built a full suite solution where you can not only query historical data, but you can set up like real-time data streams, which means they work much faster for those who need extremely fast data. So these events that you will be getting using the Tsunami API or the data lakes, they don't even get indexed as they would by a traditional data indexing service, but we treat them as live streams of events, which means we can deliver them to you at the earliest possible moment. So speed and push-based delivery, not pull-based, because a lot of APIs you have to query all the time, asking has something changed, has a new transaction came in. So using our real-time push-based system, you don't have to do that. So it's much more convenient for a lot of developers. Now, additionally, we have things like storage and the custom data lakes, which give you the ability to aggregate on-chain and off-chain data automatically to use them for your own backend and front end. So there's a lot of and of course the speed of syncing nodes and resyncing new blocks. I think PARSIQ, at least from the solutions that we've tried, PARSIQ is the fastest. There may be others that we don't know of, but at least compared to those we did try.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great to hear. We definitely love fast and scalable solutions in the chain. So I'm looking once again to the comment section. That should be all for now. So I guess we can end the AMA right here. Once again, Tom, really glad you could join us and really happy that you could share with our audience a lot more about PARSIQ, the Tsunami API, and the value that you're going to drive on BNB Chain and further down the line into the broader blockchain network. Thank you so much, everyone.
So
Have a great
thank you,
have a
Justin.
great